Hello, everybody. This is Frank, and welcome to Iron Age News here in the South Florida conservative, God knows what news service at this point, right? And people used to say, oh, what is it, Schadenfreude? Shameful joy when people do something horrible and we enjoy it. And now we have it. It is the girl that we all used to love to hate, Greta Thunberg, who would never shut the F up since she's been 12 years old. And now she and some happy shipmates have gone out and got themselves a boat full of humanitarian supplies and intend to bust through the blockade of Israeli ships and go into Gaza and hand out all this shit. Okay. This is being done for whatever reason, probably to get views, probably to do whatever. But Greta Thunberg, the global face of climate activism, has officially crossed into dangerous territory. I mean, literally, ideologically, whatever. And she is going to be in open defiance of Israeli naval law and international maritime order. It's not humanitarianism. It's not a protest. It's a provocation. And she thinks it's the Gulf of Tonkin, although she doesn't remember when that happened. All right, so let's be clear here. There is an Israeli naval blockade around Gaza. Before somebody, when it happens, when all your friends over at Columbia and Harvard start crying that these are martyrs, there has been an Israeli naval blockade around Gaza since 2007. It's to stop the arms and cash and logistics and drugs and everything else from reaching Hamas because at that point they didn't know about the giant tunnel complex under the Egyptian border. True enough, right? Give them credit for what happened. This is an internationally recognized terrorist organization, Hamas, right? 2011, I'm reading off a little timeline for you. The United Nations itself affirmed the blockade's legality. Israel has every right under international law to intercept any vessel approaching Gaza without permission. But that hasn't stopped radical ideologues or celebrities from trying to break it. It's happened before. They usually girl out before they get too close. Now, Greta Thunberg, who was supposed to stop climate change by herself at 13 or 14, is now personally aboard a vessel aiming to breach Israeli sea space. The crew she's with are also the same thing, known Hamas sympathizers. The mission is not humanitarian aid through legal channels, but direct solidarity with what she herself calls the Palestinian resistance, which let's not pretend it's anything other than Hamas. Okay. They are in a 59-foot boat, which they bought in England and renamed it. I forget what the hell the name is. Doesn't even matter at this point. The Madeleine Gaza, which is some kind of Gazan reference. Okay. But it was actually an English ship. It's 59 feet long and it's a sailboat. So one could imagine that you can carry maybe 6 or 7 cans of beans and a couple of bottles of Perrier in there, and the thing is going to be maxed out. So this is being done specifically to be an FU at the Israelis and see what it is that they're going to do when this ship shows up. Okay. So the ship is not delivering cargo. As I just said, it's 59-foot sailboat and it's a pleasure craft. Okay. It's not a old timey 59-foot boat. It is them, and there's 12 people on it. So them, their clothes, their egos, their damage, all that shit plus supplies, there's nothing on it. And Greta Thunberg is the poster girl. She's posing on the mizzen. She's posing on the poop deck. She's posing all over the place wearing her Hamas colors because that's the kind of girl she is. So they have themselves being tracked on Garmin and a couple of other services, obviously for fear that something will happen to them out in the deep sea, which probably will not. The action is going to occur when she crosses into Israeli sea space. So let's break this down because this will be once again your friends at Harvard and Columbia telling you the oceans are free, the dolphins rule everything, and blah, blah, blah. There's the Israeli law and international common sense together. Under Israel's 2016 Counter-Terrorism Law, any person offering material support, direct or indirect, to a designated terror group can be prosecuted. That includes propaganda, that includes logistics, that includes those 2 cans of beans and that bottle of Perrier, and that includes solidarity operations. So Greta's little voyage ticks all those boxes. If convicted, she could and frankly should serve 5 to 20 years in an Israeli prison. And if it's proven that the trip was intended to deliver aid, information, or symbolic cover to Hamas during actual hostilities, which it is, they've all said that, that penalty escalates to life imprisonment under Israeli Penal Code 99, aiding the enemy in time of war. She is not an innocent passenger. They didn't tie her up and throw her into the hold. She's not an unknowing activist. She is a willing accomplice. And if one looks at the paperwork to purchase the ship probably appears because of Greta and not in spite of Greta. So what you can call it what it is. Greta Thunberg is now a political agent. She is aiding a terrorist militia in a time of war, hiding behind her social media following, whoever that is. I think it's half fake. And climate credentials, which, what are her climate credentials? She hasn't stopped anything from doing anything. So she is like a human shield for this ship. And if Israel does not act, it opens the door to more of this, not less of this. And that's what people are going to say. Oh, well, she's a celebrity, they'll just let her go. Absolutely not. This is a war, and this war is being run by generals who have had it. They have had it with the West. They have had it with the Americans. They have had it with everybody. Now, for right or wrong, that's their viewpoint. I'm not there to tell you what the viewpoint should be. I'm telling you what the viewpoint is. That's the difference. Everyone's like, well, they should be nicer. They should kiss Greta when she shows up. They should. No, they're not doing any of that shit. They have too much invested at this point to back off. And some little nobody from Sweden is not going to stop them from doing what they're doing. Because this is bigger than one boat or one activist. It's part of a larger strategy, as we discussed with the fellow who killed those 2 Israelis over in Washington. That was a foreign fighter fighting against Israel in a third-party country. She is kind of in that same thing. She is a foreign fighter for Hamas coming back to wage war on a new front. The ocean becomes a new front in the war. Israel has had the ocean nailed down pretty much since the beginning, hence all those tunnels, okay? So this is using a Western celebrity, international NGOs, which you know I hate them, and emotional narratives to shield Hamas from accountability and weaken Israeli sovereignty. That's what it comes down to. Once again, I'm not saying what's going to go on is going to be cool, but you're bringing it on yourself when you know as you know, our channel completely has been trying to talk the people, the United States, out of messing with ICE, messing with all these people, because it's federal offenses you guys are going to get. You're never going to get free of them. This is the same kind of shit, only a little bit bigger, right? So, as we say, the propaganda wars that are fought in the 21st century, it's not just drones and rockets. It's Instagram stories. It's this protest flotilla, they want to call it. It's climate messiahs, you know, because in certain groups, I think people actually believe her on shit, which she has never said anything totally credible that I'm aware of. She's a product of the Franziskaner, which is a $17,749 American a year private school. Her parents are both in the performing arts, I believe. So there's money there, but there's no accountability because she's brought up as a bohemian idiot and just allowed to do what she wants. She's trying to tell you she has Asperger's. I have Asperger's. All right. Because she's like, well, I'm angry about this and that. I don't really think that's the answer. I don't think that's an actual diagnosis. She self-diagnosed herself. She got Asperger's because of the climate situation. Right? So if Israel lets this ship through, if Greta gets her global photo op, Hamas wins a major PR battle. A terrorist regime will have used a European teenager to punch a big hole. It's going to be a big hole because the next wave is going to be huge. It'll be actual ships in the naval blockade that has kept thousands of Israeli citizens alive for over a decade. So what's going to go on? Here's our bet. And then when it happens, you can tell us where we went wrong. Israel has to intercept that vessel. Thunberg and her crew should be detained, not just for trespass, but for potential material support for terrorism. The vessel should be searched, the crew interrogated, and if the law applies to everybody, then Greta Thunberg should be prosecuted like any other ideological infiltrator trying to run a naval blockade in wartime. And everybody in the West, in the EU especially, because that's where all the Jew hating's coming from, particularly the governments who have made her a big thing, which would be the French, the Swedes, and some of the other ones, which we don't care about anyway, have to make a choice. Are you willing to fight Israel over this girl? Are you willing to stand with law and order and anti-terror policies, or are you going to take the side of this girl? Or are they going to grovel, as they do, and allow Thunberg to turn the Mediterranean into her own personal TikTok war zone, which she could possibly do? So a lot of shit going on in the Med, right? She doesn't seem to ever want to go near Russia or Ukraine, though. Smart enough to do that. So Greta Thunberg is not an innocent child. I think she's 22 now. So she's just a stupid post-teenage person. She is not a neutral observer. She is by choice on the side of Hamas, because somehow Hamas will save the planet, right? And if you ignore that, you enable it. Israel is Israel. They say they have a right to defend themselves. They actually have the law on their side. They have a right to prosecute foreign nationals who openly assist its enemies, and that includes these climate people. It includes the peace activists, and that includes Greta Thunberg. So that's where we stand for now. You're going to see what you want to see, fine. If she's that serious and she makes them go to guns, they most assuredly will. They've done it before. If you recall, those of you who are like super Jew haters will remember when the Israelis attacked an American ship years back. It happened. It really happened. Nobody's saying it didn't. So if they will attack the hand that feeds them, a bunch of idiots in a 57-foot boat are child's play to them. And that's what I don't think Thunberg and her people believe. They think there's some invisible shield of righteousness that's going to hold them together. And it's not, and it's just going to cause more problems for more people than ever. So that's all we have. Talk to you all later. Have a good day.